And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the launch of Reinvented to Rise Volume 2. Oh my goodness, it feels so good to say that. I am so happy to be here with you guys, and thank you so much for tuning in. I know that we're probably coming in across several different platforms here. We're over here on LinkedIn, we're over here on YouTube, and we are here on Facebook. With me today, I have the authors of the book and the documentary. So we're going to talk to you a little bit today about our book. And as you know, we have been bombarding you with messages, letting you know that we're starting our Amazon bestseller campaign. And it started 3 minutes ago. So I want you to be sure, as I put the link up here right now, that you go and you get this book, get the ebook, and support us. We would greatly, greatly appreciate that. We're in a campaign to be bestsellers. Why? Because this book should be a bestseller. We know it is. We just want to go ahead and get the Amazon stamp on it so that they know too. All right. But anyway, so with me today, I have so far, we've had four of our authors up here, and more are to come. We've got Deidre Hill. We also have Jackie Scott. We also have Tabitha Russell, and we have Pixie Lee. All of them are authors again in the book. And as I stated, or as has been stated in all of the advertisements that we've put out, we did a book and a documentary. So you have to stay tuned because truly the book is just the beginning. The documentary gives you a little more insight into the ladies that you see here. But tonight, again, that's for another time. It's coming. I want you to go ahead and meet these ladies. Let them tell you a little bit about themselves and tell you about their chapters in their books. So I'm just going to go in the order, actually, that I see up here on my screen. And the first person who's right next to me is Deidre Hill. Deidre, please tell us about yourself and your chapter. Welcome. I'm so happy that we're all here tonight together.
Good evening. Are we in evening now?
Yes, can you
Because
believe
it's daylight still outside, but hello,
no?
everyone. um, Thank you, Alethea, for having all of us on here. And it's really an honor. It's been an honor to work with you and to work on this project. I am Deidre Hill. I am a higher education administrator and educator. I've been in higher education for 25 years, working at various colleges and universities across the country. And the chapter that I decided to write that was very, very closely related to Reinvented to Rise is about my journey through a very, very severe car accident where three people were killed actually in that car accident, and but five survived, and I was one of the survivors of that. And this was an opportunity for me to share that story and to align with the theme of reinvented to rise, because every time we go through a challenge or a tragedy in life, we do have to reinvent ourselves. So I'm happy to be here, and I can't wait for the rest of the discussion.
Oh my goodness. And look, I'm happy to have you here and so blessed to have your story in the book. You know, we are all dealing with things, and I knew that your experience and basically how you persevered, because, you know, this book is about perseverance, strength, courage, all the things that we need in our reinvention process. And I knew that what you had to contribute would definitely help somebody else. So thank you so much for being a part of this. It has been an absolute joy to work with you and with all the women here. So I'm looking forward to everybody else finding out what we already know about one another and the things that we've already shared. So I'm again so excited about that.
Thank you.
So next to me, I see there is Jackie Scott, who's coming up next. Jackie, please tell us a little about yourself and your chapter. Share with us what we're going to find out when we read what you have to say in Reinvented to Rise.
Thank you, Alethea. It is a joy to be here. This has been an awesome journey. I am Jackie Scott, and I am coming to you from Columbia, Maryland. It is so exciting to be a part of this project. I serve as a senior leader in county government in the human service sector. And I am a lawyer by training, also have a degree in business. So I call myself sort of a multi-sector expert in the sense that I really work with people by using both my background in business and law and human services to really help people emerge into their best selves. And I particularly work with high performing women who are looking for a way to really reignite after having such pressures to produce day in and day out. They find themselves stuck, unfulfilled. And how do we move past that? And so my chapter, which is called Don't Let Your Yesterday Steal Your Tomorrow, is really birthed out of a loss for me, a tremendous loss. I lost my mother a few years ago. And I talk about how when a woman loses her mom, it changes her. And the emergence of reinvention that I'm going through, that I went through and continue, because we're on a journey. And I talk about that in the chapter. We're constantly reinventing ourselves. And I just talk about connecting to the pieces that I had to understand that I lost when I lost my mother, because the things that I just didn't know about myself, the things that I'm searching through to find out, and then how does that help me define who I want to be going forward? So through my story and through a few tips that I've learned along the way to emerge whole, I've shared those in my chapter, and I hope we get a chance to connect with the readers around all the tools that we've each shared. But those are what mine are about.
Wow. That is tremendous. And I've read your story. I've read everybody's story, and it really is impactful. And so many people, that's the thing about, the whole theme behind reinvention or the whole reinvention process. There's so many different things that we all deal with. And I know that people can relate to having to reinvent after having lost a loved one. Someone so dear who's been so instrumental in our lives.
Yes.
And so I know that there are going to be so many people who can relate to what you say, and be able to relate to the advice that you're giving to them on exactly how it is they can make it through. They can persevere, how it is that they can reinvent in the midst of all that they're going through. And, it just may be the catalyst for somebody to reinvent. You just never know. So thank you. Thank you again for being a part of this project. And I want to remind everyone, just take a quick little break right here to say we're running our bestseller campaign right now. Go on over. We have the link scrolling at the bottom of the screen here. Go over, purchase the ebook. It is $1.99. Let me tell you, it will be the best $1.99 you've ever spent, okay? For what you're getting, for the richness, for just all that this is going to deposit in you. Give it as a gift. Give it to somebody who may be at a point where they need to reinvent. Give it to them so that they can be encouraged by what we have to say as well. So again, the link is on all of our social media platforms. We've posted it, and it's also scrolling at the bottom of this screen. Go on over, purchase the book. Now, what we want to stress as we run this campaign is that you must download the book. In other words, you have to redeem the book before it really counts as a part of our campaign. And we really appreciate you doing that for us. And be on the lookout because, of course, the ebook isn't the only thing we have. We also have our print book coming out probably in the next week or so. And again, that documentary that we'll tell you more about as we go along. We don't want to lose focus too much here tonight. But anyway, so again, thank you, Jackie and Deidre. We so appreciate what you have contributed to this book. And I'm telling you, you guys look forward to reading their chapters. So next up, I want to bring Tabitha Russell. Thank you so much. I'll just let you know that I met these ladies at some point somewhere in my journey in life. And when I thought about the book, I knew that they had stories that they would be able to share that would definitely be a blessing to many. And Tabitha, of course, you were definitely one of them as well. Tell us a little about yourself and what can we find out when we read your book, when we read your chapter?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Ms. Alethea, for allowing me this time, space, and opportunity. My name is Dr. Tabitha Russell. I am the CEO and founder of Inside Inspired Women, which is the home of Breakthrough Millionaires. And I help women who are stuck or challenged in their financial literacy to now take back their rightful authority and help them to create a generational wealth legacy. And so in my chapter, it's called The Unopened Book of Her. And the reason why I wrote that chapter was because I found myself at one point stuck in a place of where I lost everything. And I didn't have a way out, an immediate way out, because there was nobody there to help me guide through the challenges that I was having financially. And so I just talk a little bit about what that process was like and how I finally was able to gain the knowledge I needed for financial literacy, which eventually helped me to get back on track financially as well as through business and create multiple streams of income. So that's what I'm talking about in my chapter.
Ah, definitely inspiring, especially for our entrepreneurs out there, for those who just are starting in business. You need to read her chapter to find out the things that she's already been through. She can save you some heartache, okay? She can save you some heartache and pain and point you in the direction of doing things differently so that you don't have to, go through some of those stumbling blocks that we frequently go through. And that's what it's all about. It's about helping one another, right? Because if I know a way to get around an obstacle, or if I know a way to push through a process and I have mastered that, I think it's an obligation to help other women like me who struggle maybe with some of the same things. I think it's an obligation that we have to help them through it. And I know that, reading your chapter is going to inspire some people who may be dealing with, just starting out in their entrepreneur journey. And it will encourage them to keep going and, you know, encourage them to know that they can be successful in what they do. So thank you, Tabitha, for being a part of this and for adding to our reinvented tribe, because that's exactly what we have here. We've got a tribe of women. We started out as authors and we became family. We really did. Over the months, we have become family, and it is a great group to be a part of. Thank you so much. And next up, I see Pamela Straker. Thank you for being here today. It has been an absolute joy working with you on this project, my heroic caregiver. So I
Well, I
already
want
told you,
to,
but definitely you
I
tell us a
want,
little more.
okay. My name is Dr. Pam Straker, and I am actually very, very pleased and honored to be a part of this project. The women that I've met have been really rather incredible. And so for me, it's humbling. I really see reinvention as part of a normal life cycle. And as I say in my chapter, I feel as if in life, we're going to be confronted with challenges. We can't avoid that. And that sometimes the challenges, and in many instances, the challenges force us to reinvent ourselves. And that's how I came at the chapter. I First of all, thank you, Alethea, for including me in the project. And I am at this point in my life, I met the challenge of losing my mom. And I felt as if there was information I wanted to share with others about the whole process of caregiving, about planning and being ready for that process, not only for your loved ones, but for yourself. And so that is the work that I am doing. I hope the chapter will give some methods for handling or dealing with the need to reinvent, or the need to confront the many challenges all of us will wind up facing. Thank you again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And all of us at some point face having to be a caregiver. Some of us may have faced it earlier in life than others, but at some point we all face that. And I don't think that there is enough information out to help us through that process. So I thank you for giving us your knowledge, for giving us your expertise, and for sharing your real heart for it, because I know you have a real passion
I do.
for this. Yes,
I
absolutely. Absolutely. So I thank you for that. And you all get to hear that, you get to hear what she says, in reference to all of that. And she brings a lot of experience with her. She has done this kind of work all of her life. And we're very fortunate to be able to hear her story and for her to be able to help us to get along better in the process of being caregivers. So thank you. Thank you so much. And then over to my far left, I have none other than Lindia Grant. Thank you. I'm so happy that I know we had a few technical issues. I'm glad you got in here. We would
It was
not
my fault after I saw what
without
happened.
you.
It was my fault, Alethea. Can you hear
It's
me?
okay. I hear you.
I
I
did
hear
not
you.
scroll down and say enter studio. I was there, but I didn't enter the studio. So what can I tell you? I'm just telling you like it is.
I understand. Look, and that's
That's
what
a
we look
country
for you
girl
to
in the
do.
city trying to make it.
Right. Welcome, Lindia. We're so happy to have you. Let
I'm
me
glad
tell
to
you,
be
you
here. Glad to
you
be
just
here.
add
I've
the
been
spice to
ready a
us
long time for
reinvention
this
girls.
day. Yes.
I'm sorry.
I said I've been waiting a long time for this day. This was exciting.
Yes, it is exciting. Well, welcome. Now it's your turn. You tell us a little bit about you and tell us what we're going to hear in your chapter of the book.
Well, at this point, I turned 72 years old in a few weeks on May 6th. So
Ooh.
I call myself semi retired, but I still have to get up and go to work every day because I'm an African American woman, been divorced 30 some years. And so my retirement is not enough to keep me going. So I have to work and be retired at the same time. And you know what I had to do the other day is just say, Romans 8:28, and I know that all things work together for the good. So I had to tell myself this too is good because it is what it is. We can't worry about what, the husband did and didn't do, and you have to take care of your kids by yourself. So anyway, let me get off of that. Let me tell you that I am a radio show host. As a matter of fact, my show is on the air right now, live, 6 p.m. Well, it's not live, but because I'm over here live. But my show is on every week, Radio 1, Spirit 1340 from 6 to 6:30. So it has been pre-recorded this week so I could be with you, but it is there. And just so folks know and they can look for a copy, Dr. Ward is on there, Dr. Amanda Ward, talking about how HIV/AIDS is up throughout the area and the country in the Black community 300%. I'm telling you. And she wants us to know, even us senior citizens need to pay attention because there's so many of us single might want to try to get into some trouble. So we need to know. So I thought I'd mention, I've been doing Radio 1 for 12 years, and I write my column for the Washington Informer newspaper, the Religion Corner. I've been writing that corner for 18 years, and it became syndicated about 5 years after I started writing it, and I didn't realize it. And it started getting picked up by the black press all over the country. So I'm pleased that my parents were ministers. And when Denise Roloff asked me to write the Religion Corner, she said, "You think you can do that?" I said, "Yeah, my daddy was a bishop. He preached to us every day." So you know how it is in the Pentecostal church. You're in church all the time. So I ought to know how to write a Religion Corner. So it has worked, and I was confident about it because I heard so many sermons from my mother and father and us singing and having church right at home. Why couldn't I write a Religion Corner? My father said everything in the Bible is scriptural. Everything that happens in our world is scriptural. And he was right. So that's what I can do. I can hook the scriptures to everything. Now, my chapter, I won't talk about it much, but it took courage because I was only an entrepreneur after had been in business only not even a year when I got the idea. So had just started my business and hadn't done anything in the business world. But Reverend Jesse Jackson was running for president, and we had tried a lot of things to get our company known. Critique Career Management Services Incorporated in Washington, D.C., wanted to write resumes and do job search techniques for people, but nobody knew we were there. So read my chapter and find out how I was able to actually get with, to Reverend Jackson, and then the bust is sitting in Operations Push in Chicago, and it is called his official bronze bust. You got to buy the book to hear how it all happened.
All right. All right. So look, she gave you a lot of information. And she gave you a good bit of information about her chapter too.
You got to read what it is.
That's right.
I wanted them to want to know.
That's right. Well, I appreciate you so. You have been a tremendous breath of fresh air to this group. Let me tell you, it's amazing. You never know when you start on a project like this. Now, granted, I know all the women in here, but they didn't know one another. And the way that we've been able to mesh together has been absolutely tremendous. And I'm so grateful for that. I am so grateful. If someone could actually, and I see what you're saying, Jeanette, and we're going to get that link over to you. I apologize. It's not over there on LinkedIn. I'm sorry, on YouTube. I'm going to get it to you. So hold tight. Mm-hmm. But I'm so grateful to have each and every one of these ladies, and just so blessed by this process, by this project overall. Now, I see somebody else who has pulled up here who is a diehard baseball fan. And she said that she was definitely making this launch, but she also had an obligation to support her team. But I'm so glad that her obligation to us came in the mix somewhere. And that's Pixie Lee. Pixie, I'm so happy to see you. Welcome.
Hello. Glad to be here. I had to get in a better spot. Mine wasn't working.
That's right. Even in a better spot. So listen, tell us about yourself and tell us a little about your chapter. What are we going to hear when we read your chapter?
Okay. Well, hello, everyone, and good evening. I am Pixie Lee. I am an author, publisher, ghostwriter, and speaker. I was a part of the first Reinvented to Rise. And in that one, I talked about how I had to reinvent myself to the business owner that you see now, because I had to get away what other people thought about me and what other people thought I should be and what other people called me. A lot of people say that it's not what people call you, it's but what you answer to. And while that is true, what they call you also sticks with you. So I had to get out from under that umbrella to emerge as a successful business owner of multiple companies who has done entrepreneurship and corporate America. So when it came time to do the second go round, you would think, okay, well, she already reinvented herself. Why she reinvent herself again? Because I'm here to tell you that the reinvention doesn't just take place one time. It's a continued process. So while I was a successful business owner, my businesses weren't doing what I wanted them to do. They weren't as successful as I knew they could be. So what did I have to do? Go back and reinvent myself a second time. So once you grab the book, which I hope everyone will, you'll see exactly what that journey looks like. And I'll also give you some tips for you to not only reinvent yourself, but to make sure that your business is doing what it needs to do.
Awesome. Awesome. So if at first you don't succeed, you try again, right?
Try again.
And try again. Absolutely. You cannot give up is the point. And that is definitely an underlying theme behind what we're talking about in the book. That's what you do when you reinvent. You have to do, and sometimes, just like Pixie said, it might take 1, 2, 3. She was in the first book. She's reinventing again right here in the second book. So that is what we are trying to stress. We want you to understand that there is no point. And, we are all what I affectionately call risers, that, kind of 40 plus, around somewhere around there age. And this is the age where some of us feel that, it's too late to reinvent. And we are here to tell you that is not the case. No matter the situation, you've seen all the various circumstances. We're writing about a number of different things. Don't think that it's ever too late and that, those middle years mean rocking chair. It may if you want it to. If you want it to. The point is you make the decision on what you want to do, but don't do it just because it's the middle year. If there's something where you want to reinvent, definitely age and no other demographic has anything to do with it. So, ladies, so tell me this. We have a little more time that we have here on our launch show. What is it that you want people to know more than anything about what is really required to reinvent yourself? What is really required? What tips can you give them on, going for that thing perhaps that they've stayed away from, or, redoing something? What is it that you want them to know? What tips do you have?
I want to go first.
Okay.
I want to say what happened to me is, and I believe it would happen to a lot of people. So many folks used to tell me how much I've done, in 30 something years. I remember Les Brown's fiance at the time. I was working for him and learning and how to be a motivational speaker. And my mom had just died on Christmas Day. And she kept telling me, because she learned about my work and could see it online and everything, kept telling me, Lindia, you have everything you need. You can be out there rolling. And I'm looking at her and see, I didn't know it. I didn't feel it. And I still don't, because I feel better about it. But what you have to do, and I'm saying this to people because it happened to me, someone who had done a lot, worked for presidents and done all kinds of things, but I still didn't, I felt like I was the girl from the country. For some reason, I just wasn't there. And so what we have to do is reprogram our thinking. That's part of reinventing that I want to say. You have to reprogram your thinking, because I was stuck somewhere back there, and I had been steady walking, one foot in front of the other, and I was way far away from that. But yet my mind had not gotten there. So the reprogramming my thinking, my kids can tell you how much I started listening to motivational speakers and how I started repeating. Everybody that know me know I had stuff all on the wall, like in the movie with Color Purple, when the girls were learning how to read.
Mm-hmm.
I had stuff up on my wall because when you're really trying to come from being somebody who picked cotton and put in tobacco, and you in the city and you do, it's a lot to change. And it won't happen overnight. You have to work at it. You have to work at it. And I want people to not give up on themselves and know that anything you want to be, you can be, but you got to believe it. And you have to walk in that thing, because if you don't believe it, you're not going to do it.
Mm, that's good.
And be
That's
willing to put in the work. Be willing to put in the work on you, even when the naysayers are all around you.
right.
Don't listen to that. It could be family. I had some family that told me, you need to go back and get you a job. But I had to be able
Wow.
to, my programming had gotten strong by then, so I was able to keep it moving.
We have to reprogram so that we can get to the point where we can make changes.
Yes.
Reprogram.
And
Anybody else want?
once that happens, you're in the safe zone then.
Right. Safe. Anybody else want to chime in?
Sure, I will. I would say the first thing is to not let your fears overtake what you know you can accomplish. Have the courage to stand on what you know you can already do. If God gave you that vision, He will give you provision. You don't have to worry about that. So the fear that's inside of you is meant to stop you, but use it as fuel to push yourself forward. Because, like Miss Lindia said, you have everything that you need already inside of you. You have all the tools, all the equipment. You may need to brush it off a little bit because you haven't used it in a while, but it is already there. But don't feed into the fear, feed into your strength, feed into your courage, and surround yourself with people, like minded people, who are going to breathe life into you and what you're trying to do.
Yes. Yes. Who you have around you means everything when you're looking at reinventing. You don't want people who are going to hinder you. You want people who are going to help you. I love that. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. Let's hear from somebody else.
What I'd like to share, Alethea, is and what I hope people get out of all of our stories is that challenges and obstacles are a part of life, and we should lean into them and expect them. I also believe that when we go through our struggles, whatever they may be, that each time we get stronger and stronger and stronger. And so almost kind of looking at our lives with the expectation that a challenge is going to come, just like we expect that success will come at some point. I think our challenges are there to help us learn, to help us persevere. I'd like someone to explain to me, how can you persevere if you don't have a challenge or if you don't have any kind of struggle to go through? What are you persevering from? So lean in, accept the challenges as they come. Know that even though you go through a struggle, you will have to come out of it at some point. As my fellow authors have said, keep going through it. Don't stop. Continue the journey and just rejoice at the joy at the end of that struggle.
Yes.
And can I just say and to endorse what she just said? I
Mhm.
heard somebody on the other day say it twice. If a mountain was smooth, you couldn't climb it.
Mm,
You
that's
wouldn't. You
true.
couldn't be. You couldn't get up there if it was smooth. So you got to go through all that hard time getting up that mountain. But you can get up there
Right.
because there's some things for you to grab onto as you go.
Yeah, that's powerful. That is powerful. Uh-oh, Pam, I think you just went mute on us. There you go.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I would like to just comment about my colleagues are just fabulous and they have laid out much of what we all need to hear. And they know, I've said this before, I'll repeat it again. It is so important when we're going through our most stressful times to become peaceful within ourselves and to quiet ourselves. We are often distracted by the noise around us, and we're listening to all kinds of things that don't pertain to what it is that we're going through. And so for me, I think I've mentioned it before. I think it's so important to become kind of the master of listening to yourself and really hearing that information that all of my colleagues have talked about. It was there all the time, but we weren't quiet enough to really let it come forward. And I think that that is so important as we try to accomplish anything, as we try to go through anything. If we've gone through physical harm, it becomes important for us to give ourselves a break, just get quiet, listen, and really shut out all of the noise. So if that message resonates with you, that is what I really believe.
Get quiet.
Mhm.
Spend some quiet time, and it's not always easy for us to get, but you know what? It is a must. It is a must if we really want to hear and get settled and be able to figure which direction do we really want to go, because there is a lot of noise, probably more noise than ever these days. But the importance of just kind of stealing away, as my grandmother used to say, is it's just imperative. Absolutely imperative.
Yeah. What I would add, Alethea, is for us as women in particular, we have to watch out for the damage that shame can do to us. It isolates us, it keeps us bound. And what we tend to do is if we think something didn't work perfectly, or we make a mistake or we mess up, we go inside and we hide ourselves.
Yes.
And reinvention is a part of what God and what nature has put before us from the beginning. Look at what happens to the butterfly, right?
Yes.
Starts off as a caterpillar, right? What happens to diamonds? They don't look like diamonds when they first start out, or pearls are not pearls when they first start out. There are rough edges all around us in life, and we're going to get poked and prodded and cut sometimes
Yes.
by those rough edges. And if we just keep going and we surround ourselves, I call them tribes that help us survive.
Mhm.
Who are our people that no matter how dusty and we look in the process, that will believe in us and that will lift us up? We don't have to be bound by the story in our mind that we tell ourselves about perfection. You know, it is a rebirthing process. And those of us who have birthed children know, like that 9-month process, and that
It's a process.
is a process, right? And then the actual labor is a
Yes.
process. It is
Yes.
painful, it is challenging, it is all those things. But who said it? You just gotta breathe. You
Yes.
just gotta breathe. And you gotta have that person who you're holding hands with and who's doing the count for you. And that's what this reinvention is about. Who can you surround yourself, and that you have this vision and you know you can move forward, but you just need to breathe and know you can get there. And I
Yes.
think our stories help people understand that they're not alone. They're not alone in this journey, and don't let the shame of not being able to do something the first time keep you blocked from all the wonderful things that you can achieve in the next chapter.
Absolutely. In the next chapter. That means there's more to come, y'all.
Right.
There's more to come,
Absolutely.
It's not
I
the
love
end.
that.
Yes.
Oh, I was going to say, I love that because Yeah, definitely. You have to continually reinvent yourself all the time. And for me, it was a constant, or it has been a constant um, learning process for me because as I was growing up, I was always taught to fight hard to be number one. And when you're not number one, a lot of times you got to go back to the drawing board. Second is not an option. And so for me, it was like always trying to strive to be that next winner, be number one in whatever it was that I was doing. And of course, when things didn't work out in my favor at some points in my life, I retreated inward. And it wasn't until I got around my tribe, until I got around others that were doing the things that I strived to do, that I learned that I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me, right? Like I got to where I didn't see any quit in me. I didn't see any fear. And because I continually worked at it, that was the ticket for me. Continually working every single day, doing something towards your goals is what helped me to become better, as well as achieve the goals that I set before myself. And I think the more that we challenge ourselves to be better, as well as to go after those things that we aspire to do and to be, it helps not only us, but those around us. And I'm a firm believer that we are the sum of our circle, those that we surround ourselves by. We're the sum of that. And so, where somebody's strong and you're weak, it's going to challenge you to be better. And so, I just love this journey that we've been on as far as creating this book. Even in my trials, I say that that was the blessing of a lifetime because it helped me to be better.
Yes. Yes.
And
She said
Lisa,
in her trials, that was a blessing.
can I just say one short other thing? They reminded me, I love to talk because I'm a speaker. I'm sorry, not trying to hold it all up, but I just want to say sometimes we need therapy. And I didn't get therapy, but I was able to get it through the speakers and through it. It was so much, and I'm not saying I went to anything at my home, but because it was such a large family and we were poor and didn't have very much, the stuff that happened to me when I moved to Washington, D.C., and the way kids laughed at me, and it was hard for me. You all probably heard me talk about that. That caused so much. You have to work on you, is really what I'm saying. In order for you to be what people need, it's like when I talked about the mountain and having the if it was slick mountain with nothing that you had to gravel, those hurdles and obstacles, like Jackie was saying, those are the things that make you strong. Because when I started the journey of being in business, it was so hard sometimes because we had an office and sometimes we didn't have the rent. And Mr. Cofer would come in there. I love Mr. Cofer. So, Mr. Cofer, if you listen, it's all right. You can hear this because you did it. He would come in there, talk about he wanted his rent, and I knew I didn't have it, but I knew he was going to get it. I was learning how to talk and say I had a contract and the check is coming and going and get the copy to show him. And it just so, but some of the things I went through because of problems I had in my marriage and other parts of my life that were very difficult helped me to find out that the things I was going through in business were kind of easy compared to I'm telling you, sometimes the things you go through make you stronger so that you are strong enough now for this journey. Because I know if I hadn't gone through some of those other things that I went through in my life when I was innocent and young, like my father used to say, you believe everything somebody tell you. Everybody not telling you the truth. You too soft. You believe everything. But I had to get all of that too and realize people not always telling you the truth. So I was a softy and a goody two shoe girl, and the world just pounced on me, including my husband, who was a Vietnam veteran. Thought I was one of them green men over there in Vietnam. It was bad, and so, but what it did was it strengthened me for the journey. Because if I had not gone through, I prayed and asked God to help me make it through it and not be in asylum or institution afterwards, because I know people who did. So I am thankful now, and I can even thank some of the people that caused these things to happen in the past. It helps make us who we are today. If we make it, we're stronger.
Our challenges make us stronger. They
Yeah.
definitely do. And I think that you will hear that resonated throughout this entire book. We talk about the things that really do sharpen us because they have really worn us and really taught us and really just in many instances taken us to the brink of where we feel that we can't go on and we won't make it, but we managed in each situation in each of these chapters to pull ourselves up
Mhm.
and to go for better because it was worth going for better for us. And somewhere in there, we knew that we had to push through in order to make things how we really desired for them to be. Ladies, I we're coming up on our time. I want to remind everyone once again where to get this book. Go on over. We're holding our bestseller campaign right now at Amazon. The link is scrolling across the bottom there. Get your book. Open it up. It is $1.99. We are doing this for the official launch. It will go up later, but for the launch, it's $1.99 right now. And then we will also have our book in print coming in another week or so. I want the
Miss
ladies
Alicia,
to tell us about, I'm sorry, yes.
there's a question on the
Yes,
screen that I want to answer. Um,
exactly. I was going to say I want the ladies to tell us about what they're doing and the other projects that they have coming up and how you can reach them. But before we do that, I think that we have a question here, and I left it up here for a reason because it's what we want to handle when we're talking about the things we address in this book. People need a tribe. And Pixie, go on. You want to answer?
So, Miss Brooke, I want to give you a couple of things that you can do and tell you how they help me. The first thing you've got to do is pray, because you have got to tell God exactly what you need. You've got to tell Him what you feel you're missing, and you've got to be honest about that. When I got into this business of public speaking and writing, I was in a different arena than what I came from. And one thing I asked was for God to put people in my path that would help me, who would pour into me, who would speak positive, who I could network with, who would help me to open certain doors. Once I prayed that prayer, I had to go write some stuff down. I had to write what I felt like I was missing. So I needed a person who knew about social media. God sent me that. I needed a person who could help me with public speaking. God sent me that. I needed a coach who could help me in this new form of business. God sent me that. And you have to also be willing to put yourself out there. When you come across people that you know you want to be around, just say, I want to work with that person. I met Miss Alethea 3 years ago on a different platform, and I was so blown away by her story, her poise, her class, just her personality in general. I said, I want to work with this lady. And this is the second time I've had the opportunity to do that. Once you see somebody you want to be around, say it, put it in the atmosphere, because we all believe words have power. I want this for my business. I want this for myself. And God is going to send you exactly what you asked for and more.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Anybody else want to chime in on this?
I will. I will say this to Brooke, who is I'm so happy to see her here. She's a
Oh,
dear friend of mine, and
awesome.
I'm honored to call her friend. And I would say this, Brooke, what I have learned is that I have to not expect of people more than they can give and more than who they really are. And so this goes back to Maya Angelou saying, when people show you who they are, believe them.
Believe them.
And sometimes because people have their own stuff, they will disappoint you, right? And yet as we search for our tribes, there are different tribes for different seasons.
Mhm.
One person can't be everything to you, and that's okay. And yet they can still be part of your tribe. Sometimes I've learned, because I thought, oh, well, this person is my person. And yet when they disappointed me, it was because did I have an expectation of them that they really couldn't meet in the first place? They are really good over here. So they're my tribe for this when I need my business stuff. But when I need my prayer tribe, I know where my prayer tribe is. And so it's okay to have like a tribes of many functions, not really a lot of people. I'm not talking big numbers, but what I'm talking is purposeful, because I don't want people to think they have to create a tribe that's work for them, right? That they have to mold and fit into and change. No, tribes are also based on where you are and where you need to go and what you want, what you value. And if we're lucky, we have, and I've been blessed. I got a 30-year friend on this call, Olivia, if we could pick up after 10 years of not talking to each other,
Yeah.
because we are linked that way. And that's the gift that you look for. That's the no expectation. It is, that's the person who I can trust, who's no judgment, who's right with me. Not
Absolutely.
maybe the person right next to you, but that person. So
Absolutely. Beautiful.
I'd also like to kind of dovetail on that
Mhm.
too, from my experiences. I I look for people who consistently show up all the time. They're always there, and they show up when you are going through your struggles or your challenges. And there are people who just show up all the time consistently. And these are people that you may not talk to on a regular basis. But what you can say about their consistency is that when you are going through something, they are there. You may only speak to that person one or two times throughout the year, but when you're going through something, they are there. I have a handful of friends who have been with me for over 40 years. And when we talk about that, that is so rare. I think it's, commonplace because they've just been there for me. But when
Right.
we speak with other people and outside of that, we are learning that it is rare. One of them I talk about in my chapter. She's actually named. So those people who show consistency and they are there, you don't have to say, "Hey, I need," because they are there and they just do. They don't say, "I'm here, what do you need?" They just do. And those are the characteristics that I look for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, this is, and I hope, Brooke, that this has helped you, because that is definitely, what we want to focus on doing. That's why we write. That's why we put this information in our books, and we tell you the tools that, we need to help us to get along, because we want to help you too. We want to help somebody else out there. And everything that these ladies have said, I definitely echo. And the important piece is to also look in the right places, to look in the right places for the people that you want to make your tribe. There's some practical things, um, interest groups, people who hold your interests, different things that you can do in your community, and that is outside of all of the wonderful information that you've just gotten from the other ladies. I wanted to kind of also give you some things that you can do, that you can pursue on your own. But the goal is, again, keeping those things in mind that we brought up here. You want somebody who's going to be there for you, and you want somebody that you'll be able to turn to in the time of trouble, for sure.
And I want to just give a one quick comment about the tribe. You can handpick someone who has the quality that you want or qualities that you want, like I did. I'm I did what Napoleon Hill said. I don't care how much they say no. I'm gonna keep asking because that was what he kept saying.
Mhm.
No, no, you don't care how many times they say no. So I handpicked Rose Elder, and she wouldn't listen to me at first because she was a world traveler, and it was hard for me to catch her. And now I was on a radio show in DC with Rose with Melba Moore when we were promoting a play, and I was in the play with her, and we were all the cast was on the radio. And Rose Elder calls in. Instead of her talking to Melba Moore, she was calling up to tell me, "Congratulations, I've known you 30 years." And she started out being my mentor, telling me things to do. So I wanted to say to Miss Brooke Barrett, handpick you somebody. You might be surprised. And even if they don't say yes right away, you keep asking because she wanted to know who in the world is this lady won't leave me alone. I kept leaving messages on her phone, and I would give speeches like I'm doing now as to why I want her, and she kept hearing it. So I wanted to encourage you to handpick somebody and ask God to give you whatever it takes for you to get that person to say, because I want to be like you.
Well, ladies, let me tell you, many of you I handpicked, and actually all of you. And I'm so happy that I did. And it has been an incredible blessing and a privilege to work on this with you, to be able to work on something that people will be able to hold near and dear and find incredibly valuable, in helping them to do life in a better way. And I know that's exactly what this book is going to do. So before we leave, because it is almost an hour and we promised everybody an hour, again, go grab your books, people, please.
I just ordered myself, you
Be
all.
sure to look at the link and go on
Yes.
over to Amazon and grab your books. You'll know how to get in touch with these ladies if you get the book because their information is behind their chapter. So get your book, download it, and again, do it between 6 and 8 because we're trying to make that bestseller list. But as we sign off, I want to start up here with Deidre and ask you to tell us how to get in touch with you and just any parting words that you may want to quickly give to everyone. Uh-oh. I think we lost your volume there.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Hello? Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you, Alethea, to you. I want to say thank you to all the other ladies here. It has been a pleasure getting to know you and your stories and working with you over the past several months. I know a number of you have participated in a project like this in the past. This has been my first time, and I've known Alethea for a long time, and so I'm really thankful that you reached out to me. You know kind of what I was going through at the time, and you took a chance and you reached out to me anyway. So I certainly appreciate that. I want to encourage people to read the entire book and all of the chapters, and specifically, the story that I have. Of course, everybody's here promoting their stories. There, just to understand a little bit more about me and how I overcame a number of different challenges at a very, very young age, still in college at the time, right before graduation. So hopefully that speaks to a number of different hearts and souls. I can be reached at Deidra, Deidra, at dwhillassociates.com. That's Deidra at dwhillassociates.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Deidre. Thank you. Jackie?
Thank you, Alethea. I can be reached on Facebook as Jackie Belk, Belk Scott, or LinkedIn as Jacqueline, and that's with a Queline, Scott. So that's Jacqueline Scott. on LinkedIn, or you can reach me by email at expressyourself247 and that is EXPRESSURSELF 247 @gmail.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Jackie. And next is Pam.
Hi, thank you, Alethea. And
Thank
thank you
you.
to everyone. I can be reached at www.drpamstraker.com, and it will come up as Heroic Caregiver. Again, it's www.drpamstraker.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate you being a part of this. And then next over, I have Pixie.
All right. So I can be reached on Facebook under Pixie Lee, or you can email me at pixielee@plpublishing.net. And I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Pixie. And then I think Tabitha.
Hello, everyone. My name, you can reach me at drtabitharussell.com and also on social media at I am Dr. Tabitha on all platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and you can reach me there. My last parting words is that fall in love with investing in yourself at the highest level possible to you. And that's how you find your place. That's how you find your tribe, as well as practice a level of transparency. I saw my greatest and biggest breakthroughs when I became transparent with the things that I went through, and it helped me to build bridges and climb that mountain to get to where I am today. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that piece of advice. And Lindia.
Okay, you can reach me at my website. I'd love to tell you that it's lindiagrant.com. I copied off of Oprah.com. I tried so hard. I said, don't nobody else have my name. I can get it. And I'm so happy. I've had that for years. My nephew, Michael Grant, set it up for me. So you can go to there. You can also Google Lindia Grant, the Lindia Grant Show. You'll see a lot. Some people tell me it's so much. It is page after page. You'll see. I don't have to tell you. You can Google me and see for yourself. God is good. I'm not a millionaire, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you look at my website, you might think I am. If you look at my pages, and I'll tell you my phone number is 240-602-6295. I am a speaker trained by Les Brown and Dr. Willie Jolly, and I'm a radio show host, and I love to talk from a family of preachers, North Carolina.
All right. Lindia, we appreciate you.
And I'm the newest friend of Alethea's in this bunch. I've only known her a couple of years. The rest of them, you know what? I had to be good to get Alethea after finding out these people been around 30 and 40 years. And I just got in here after maybe 2 or 3 years. So I thank and praise God for that.
Woo! Oh my gosh. Lindia, we love you. I love you.
They do too. We had a good time. I love all of them. Yeah, my sisters
I love
now.
all of you ladies. So go out, everyone. Purchase our book. Listen out for the upcoming publication, the print book that we have coming out, and our documentary. We're going to come back and tell you about the documentary. How about that? That's something you do not want to miss either. Thank you so much for joining us today for our launch. It is still going on. So get a book, get another copy, give it to somebody. You can gift it to someone, Make sure they open it before 8 o'clock. All right. That's it. Thank you guys so much. And I look forward to talking to you again soon as we continue our conversations on reinvention and we tell you about the other products coming up. All right. Thanks, ladies. Everybody have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everyone.